What up, y'all? This is Nixon from Framing Hanley, and you're listening to Morgan Richards on Radio Cardiff.
Hey, I'm Morgan Richards from Radio Cardiff from 98.7 FM, and I'm very pleased to say that I'm backstage at the Clwb Ifor Bach music venue here in Cardiff. I'm joined by Nashville, Tennessee's dark alternative rock heroes. There's of course the lovely Mr. Kenneth Nixon of Framing Hanley.
How's it going, man?
Hey man, you right?
Doing pretty well. I'm just cold, sick of the cold weather. It's only just beginning, because I know when we get home it's going to be even colder than this, so I hate winter.
Oh, okay. But besides that, how's things?
Awesome, man. This tour has been a blast. It was everything we hoped it would be, after our last trip last year got cut short. We were kind of worried we wouldn't have a chance to come back here, at least not anytime soon. Here we are a year later, and it's everything it's always been to us.
Okay, well, awesome. Great to hear. So, Kenneth, I think it's safe to say that these last few years have been full of incredible hard work and have not at all been easy for the five of you as Framing Hanley, with you being away conquering every obstacle, finally releasing a long-awaited third full-length studio album, The Sum of Who We Are, back in May, focusing the last 2-3 years really of your lives on this record. Looking back now, these last few months, you guys must be extremely happy being back with a new record again and doing the things you love, playing live and saying thank you to really old fans who stepped by you in that time.
Oh, I don't even think that there are words that encompass how much we are thankful for the fans that have stuck by. 2.5, 3 years, 4 years actually between albums. That's a long time. So, the fact that there are still people out there who not only waited patiently, but are still coming out and seeing us live, play so far from home, that make us feel like we're at home every time we come over here. It's a very special thing. There are a lot of American bands that don't get a chance to come over here to the UK, and for us to be able to come over here and have people embrace us the way that they have every trip, it's not something we ever imagined happening before this. I think I've said this 1,000 times, but these are places, your country and the UK, they're quite frankly full of places that I grew up learning about in school. So to be able to visit these places, not only visit them, but to play music means so much to me personally. Songs that are about my life and about my friends' lives, and have people, for whatever reason, they have these songs that resonate with them, and they come out and they make this connection with our band. That's something that'll live on forever, long after this band's gone. So I wouldn't change any of the time that we spent working on this album. It's easy to say that now, being as proud of this album as we are, but I'm very, very happy with this album, and thankful that we get a chance to come back over here.
Very great to hear. But saying that, it was really no joke on just how much work went on behind the scenes to secure everything around this record, and really with the band, because back in 2012 you guys are really non-stop touring the globe off the first two records, and were definitely one of the most known names in alternative rock music scene at that point. Then suddenly got dropped from your record label, having to start from scratch and regroup, having to ask fans really to help out by pledging on the Kickstarter campaign that you did and to fund the record, then having problem solving that and the release and everything going on at home as well with your families.
When we parted ways with our label, a few of us were already married, a couple of us had kids, and we had real responsibilities other than just this band at that point. We had a lot of songs that we were excited about, but quite frankly didn't know how we were going to go into the studio. And when the fans came through in the effort that they did and the manner that they did with the Kickstarter, helped us fund this album. That was beyond humbling, but it also, with that, came an added pressure of knowing that we had to deliver something that was very special, because our fans had quite frankly paid for this album. So I think there's probably a period of the 2.5 years spent working on this album where we had probably a CD that we could have released that the fans would have been happy with, but we wanted to make sure that it met our criteria and our expectations and pleased us, because we knew if it was something that did that our fans were going to love it. There was no all right, it's okay. We couldn't release a CD that was like that. That our fans deserve the best of Framing Hanley, and we wanted to make sure that we spent as much time as necessary to deliver that. Again, it's easy to say this now because of the album that we did deliver, but I wouldn't have changed any of the time that we spent on this. Okay. All the consequences that came along with it, all the hardships, I think it made us a stronger unit.
Okay. But again, as you said, at that time, it must have been a real back against the walls kind of experience where you're really wondering about the future of Framing Hanley at that time, because a lot of you guys were balancing the band out with doing 2 jobs in the daytime to support the band, and the family at home wondering just how long you could keep this up for.
Yeah, I know that there was definitely a kind of a dark period during the making of this album where I think that we all believed we may have played our last show as a band. ultimately we knew we had to deliver an album regardless because our fans, they funded it on Kickstarter. But it became more about, instead of just releasing an album, despite all the stuff that we were going through, we had to make sure that this was an album that we could hang our hats on if it was the end of the day for our band. And I think that, it just made us a stronger unit, sticking with it through the thick and the thin. And when the going gets tough, the tough get going, as the saying goes. And, I definitely believe in that statement now.
Yeah, of course. And really, I have to say, I really admire the fact that you guys stuck together and didn't give up and just did the hardest work you guys could possibly can with this new record. The legion of fans now supporting you even more, really.
Yeah, as much as may have been a period where there was kind of a question of if we had played our last show or not, there was also a moment of enlightenment that came after that when we again realized just how special it was to have people all across this globe, thousands to millions of miles away from where we grew up in the sticks of the U.S., that had made this connection with our band, that we had made a connection with them. That's something that not every band gets a chance to experience. There are millions of people out there that would give anything to do what we do and have been able to do over the past few years. And we owe a lot to our fans. We owe it all to our fans, quite frankly. So it wasn't just about us having to suck it up, stick through it during the tough period. It was more so, I think, a period where we realized just how fortunate we were to call this a job too.
Okay. And now moving on slightly to a happier note about the record, going back to the writing progress for The Sum of Who We Are, I understand that you guys really never written as much material for an album as you did for this one. We had to cut so many songs you felt were really strong and recorded a couple weren't quite there yet, only to go back drawing board and get it right the next time.
Yeah, again, I think that just came back to maybe the Axl Rose in me, and this being our Chinese democracy that I never would be satisfied with. There were a couple songs, No Saving Me, for example, that a couple of the guys in the band really loved, and I didn't have that connection with it. I went back into the studio and recut the vocal, much to the chagrin of the rest of the guys. Ended up coming out with a song that I think everyone in the band now is very happy that I went in and recut some stuff. To the same note, we've always had some songs when we're working on albums that at the end of the day might have been right on the cusp of making the album that we just deemed at the end not ready to release. And Roller Coaster was a song when we were working on A Promise to Burn that was more of an acoustic ballad type song. It just wasn't where we wanted it to be when we released A Promise to Burn, so we kept it when it came time to work on this album. Approached it from a completely different viewpoint, a different angle. It's a completely different song now on this album. One of the more up-tempo, upbeat songs. Of course, we had our friend Lindsay Stamey from No Fiasco added as a guest vocal on the song and gave it a completely different edge. One of what I found to be one of the more loved songs on the album. So yeah, I think we recorded about 35 songs in preparation for this album. Ultimately put 13 on there, and I'm very confident in saying that out of the other 22 songs that you will, hear over 75% of those songs at some point or another, whether it's, just songs that we release, songs that we rework and release on another album.
And you've come out and said that every band says that they get better within age and mature for each record, but listening to the new record, I have to say that for me, there's definitely a great deal in the songwriting this time around, because it does have a collection of those modern alternative rock fused with unmissable pop hooks, heartfelt lyrics, and huge choruses wanting to sing along, and really the boldest statement you guys have released to date.
That's nice to hear that. Yeah, I think every band approaches, or should at least, because if you don't, you're not only doing a disservice to your fans, but you're doing a disservice to yourself. We approach it to one-up our previous album, and that comes back to the bands that we admire and look up to being bands that do that get better with every album. Bands like Biffy, bands like Foo Fighters, bands like Thrice. Those are the bands that I love listening to, and it's because with every album you're getting something new from that band. And I want to feel like we're always doing the same thing, putting our best foot forward. With this album, it came down to us getting outside of our comfort zone a little bit, thinking outside of the box, approaching songs with different producers this time. Yeah, it's good to hear people feel that way, like you said about it, because I certainly feel that way, and I know that with our fourth album that we're going to do everything we can to ensure that we take it even a step further.
Okay, well, awesome, good to hear. And as you mentioned there, possibly the next record, have you guys maybe started?
Already, yeah. Yeah, we've already started demoing some of the songs for the next album. I can promise you will not take 4 years between album cycles this next time. I would like to think that, either by year's end next year that we're either wrapping up a new album or releasing our fourth album. So we'll see. I can tell you, and it's not just hyperbole, like I 100% am already in love with some of these demos more than, some of the stronger songs on The Sum of Who We Are. So okay. I'm excited about the future.
Well, awesome. Well, very much looking forward to hearing the next batch of songs you guys release, hopefully next year.
Yeah, hopefully so.
Well, awesome. Of course, you guys just being over here to the UK from massive headline run, playing many shows up and down the country for the first time in many years as a headline band. I'm sure it's been a fantastic feeling to get back over here and play these headline shows in front of fans and play these new songs.
Yeah, to be able to, it's funny because usually I would prefer playing a support slot on a tour, but that's mainly because we've been headlining for so long in the States. To come over here though and to have a headlining set to where you don't have to have such a concise collection of your songs, you can play something from every album, because obviously the stuff that's more fun for us right now is the newer stuff, because we've been playing some of the older songs for going on 8 years now. So to be able to come over and to have played a headlining set and to deliver the goods in the form of 3 albums, it was a lot of fun, and we were embraced just as lovingly as we were our very first trip over here. So it was really cool to play the venue we played in Cardiff, because that was the very first venue we ever played in the UK. So it's kind of like coming full circle, and I'm hoping we come back next summer.
Oh, brilliant. And of course you guys were actually over here in the UK at the end of last year when you supported the Welsh rock titans, The Blackout, on a few shows, but unfortunately that tour had to be cut short due to Gavin from the band having an illness.
Yeah, that was an unfortunate situation. It sucked a lot on our end, because it's not cheap for American bands to come to the UK and do a tour. So, it kind of sucked the life out of us. We wondered if we were going to be able again to come back over here at least anytime soon. We weren't in any position to complain about it, because what was most important was that, Gavin get himself to a position where he was healthy. Even had just met those guys on that tour. They were a great group of guys that treated us really well. So it felt selfish to even think about how much it would suck for our band, when ultimately, again, what was important was making sure that, every band on the tour was at their best. And obviously they wouldn't be able to perform to their fullest without him. He's kind of an important part of that band. So it was just an unfortunate situation. Who knows, maybe one day we can hit the road with those guys again.
And Ken, just a couple more things now before you go. Obviously, as you've mentioned there, you guys have already started work on demoing towards the 4th full length. But what else can we expect from Framing Hanley now in the near future?
Who knows? We've had our buddy Jeffrey Brent, who's an amazing filmmaker, out on the road with us for the better part of the past year, actually, since we've hit the road touring in the States. We didn't get to bring him over here to the UK, so maybe next year if we come back, he can come with us, because I think we have plans to maybe release a DVD of some sort in the future, maybe an inside look of what it's like touring for an American rock band in the States and abroad. So other than that, we're going to keep touring. We missed a lot of prime touring time over the past couple of years, and then hopefully this time next year, again, either in the studio wrapping up our new album or already releasing the new album.
Okay, awesome. So the future holds shows, DVDs, and more new music.
Exactly.
Brilliant, great to hear. Well, that's about it. Cheers, Kenneth, for taking time out to have a chat
Thank you,
with me.
man. Thank you.
No worries. Obviously, good luck with the rest of the shows you guys have got planned throughout the year, and hopefully I can catch up with you again very soon.
Oh yeah, man. We'll see you next summer.